What's going on, everybody? This is Randall Barnes, the founder of HBCU Pulse and the host of HBCU Pulse Radio, in the building for another special edition of the show on today, where we are talking about week 5 of the HBCU football season, heading into week 6. It's homecoming season. Fort Valley's homecoming, Fort Valley State University's homecoming is this week. 130 years of excellence, 1895 to 2025 out here. I got my Fort Valley baseball jersey. We don't have a baseball team, but I got my Fort Valley baseball jersey on for the folks that can't hear. And I have Arielle Coger in the building. She celebrated homecoming with me because we both had big moments happen because it was her birthday, and then now it's Fort Valley's homecoming. So back to back. Arielle, how you doing today?
I'm tired, boss. I am tired. I am so tired. I had an amazing birthday. One of the best birthdays ever. Some of it I can't remember, and that's okay. That is okay. Everything that I posted was not everything that happened, but you know what? A good time was had, and what happens in Charlotte stays in Charlotte. So,
all right. I'm glad you're here. Remember this, okay? Just remember we did this today.
I gotta remember this. Yes. And I'm so glad it's homecoming season. I've been waiting for this. We finally get into our conference games. We get to see what's really going on, because after this past weekend, I don't think we could really count Delaware State out. It's a race in the MEAC on who's really finna be at the Celebration Bowl, and I cannot wait to get into it this season. Yeah, just go ahead and put in the ejection out there first. I don't agree with the call. And even if there was a sportsmanlike conduct before the game, that's before the game. What happens before the game is before the game. That shouldn't go into what happens during the game. Because yes, a lot of people were confused, and I was confused as to why he already had 2 unsportsmanlike conduct calls, because everybody was like, well, that's the only one that we saw. But of course, we didn't see the one that happened before everybody came into the stadium. And that's why he was ejected, because you're not ejected off of one, you're ejected off of multiple, and multiple by meaning 2. So that's why we no longer saw him in the game. But you saw the effect not having your number 1 quarterback had, because Caden Bennett within himself had 2 carries for 44 yards. He was really moving the ball, as along with what I said last week, really getting Marquise Gillis involved in that run game. Because I believe if Caden Bennett would have stayed and Marquise Gillis would have really not been contained during that second half, they actually could have ran away with this game. But I think that quarterback change, unwilling quarterback change after being ejected, really got into them. So, of course, we had Sacred Heart that went scoreless going into that second half. They didn't score in the third quarter, and they didn't score in the fourth quarter. Everybody being stuck. And Sacred Heart really stepping up. Delaware State's Marquise Gillis had 75 yards on his first play, and the Hornets were rolling over them from 30 to 20 going into that first half. He also had another touchdown. Marquise Gillis had 2 touchdowns in Delaware State. He was helping them with their lead, getting a 21-10 lead going into the end of that second quarter. But then everything just stalled from that point. They stalled in that half. They couldn't get any runs down. They converted on downs. They had a loss of downs going into that fourth quarter, where they had to turn over the ball, and that was going to be their last possession where they could have toppled them over. But Sacred Heart just coming out and dominating with Snyder's 41-yard pass. He actually had a really good game on that side. Not as well as he could have played if Caden Bennett was in, but they really did great. So with that 41-yard touchdown to Palmieri and then that 2-point conversion, there was still room for Delaware State to topple over. But like I said, when you have a turnover or downs, that's your last possession of the game, going to the last 5 minutes of the game, there's not much you can do. So with another 6-yard touchdown, unfortunately, Sacred Heart ended up going over Delaware State and ended up defeating them. Marquise Gillis again having 13 carries and 2 touchdowns. You also have Pelham Taylor, who had that 1 touchdown that helped with the lead, as he had two carries as well, 2 receptions. But I mean, Sacred Heart, when you look at them and you're looking at who really helped them, Summers, their running back, really stepped up. Not as powerful of a runner than Marquise Gillis. He is pretty quick, though, having that 1 touchdown. And then also stepping up, you had Hirschfield, who is a great defensive lineman. That sack that he had on Delaware State going into that third quarter, that hurt me. When I saw that man get knocked over and plummeted to the ground, I said, oh, yeah. They were not playing with him. And like Sacred Heart's not a bad team, but learning what they had done last week into the team that they're going in with this week, without Caden Bennett, I really believe this was just good for them. Having a game that they could just be given to, because I know they wouldn't have won if Caden Bennett would have stayed into the game. But I'm glad that Marquise Gillis was active, because him not being active last week contributed a little bit to how the game went. But being active in this game, because he is the better running back between Sacred Heart and if we're talking about Summers, then it wasn't a bad game. I believe they could have won, but you also have to talk about when Caden Bennett went out, what happened after that. Delaware finished with 10 penalties, averaging about 120 yards of a loss. You can't play that sloppy after you get your quarterback ejected. That's not going to help you win the games, because the backup quarterback actually wasn't bad. He played a really good game, something that I wish A&T would have. And then you had Sacred Heart only having 6 penalties, averaging about 75 yards. So it wasn't bad. It wasn't great. Delaware State only having 16 first downs and then only having 213 passing yards. Of course, they rushed more than Sacred Heart, and their time of possession just with the game wasn't bad. When you just take out somebody that is their presence is felt, and he's been rolling since that 3-game winning streak that Delaware State had that's now been broken. I know they can jump back into next week. I know that Deshaun Jackson still has a chance to make a run for a MEAC, but this just blows, and his consequence for the next couple games we're going to have to see. Does that mean that he doesn't play in this next game? Does it mean he doesn't play until the second half of the game? Does that mean he's out for 2 games? We're going to have to see the disciplinary, how the MEAC wants to handle this, but the ejection was just poor, and the amount of penalties that they accounted for was just ridiculous. Other than that, the game was really good until it died into the fourth quarter and going to the second half. But this is something that I know that Delaware State can jump back from.
Yeah, like when I tell you, like Jaden Sorey, like he really, I thought, played a good game for the situation he was put in, because I mean, Caden Bennett, he only threw 1 pass for 6 yards, but he ran the ball in for that touchdown, and all he did was just high-five some fans, sort of dapped up some fans, and then because he didn't, I guess, immediately give the ball to the referee, he gets ejected. I just think that that's just poor refereeing. And, Arielle, you've heard me talk about this before. It's like, I don't like when the referee dictates the game. And typically what we say about that is that you don't want to put the game in the referee's hands. And typically we say that in the fourth quarter, where it's like, hey, like, I don't want my fate to be determined by a referee spotting the ball a certain way. That happened to Fort Valley against Clark Atlanta, where it's like, hey, Don Hudson Jr. gets the first down in Atlanta. We're there watching the game, and they said, he like it's turnover on downs, and that could have been a touchdown, and Fort Valley now has 2 wins. And we all were hot in the stadium. Then we're looking at on the screen. It's like, wait, so the ESPN marker shows that he got the first down. So I literally experienced that. But this is different because Delaware State didn't give the referee the game. The referee said, I'm going to insert myself into it no matter what, because this isn't an original thought from me. I heard this a lot from all the other prognosticators in the HBCU media space. You give Caden Bennett a delay a game. Give Deshaun Jackson a delay a game. Caden Bennett does not get ejected. You sort of let him know, give me the ball. Like, don't go showing off. Don't go dapping folks up. Just give me the ball and go play. You know what I mean? Like, doing unsportsmanlike conduct in that situation, I think that penalty is used. We know that penalty is used to make sure you're calming down the temperature. You're saying, hey, listen, unsportsmanlike conduct, don't get in his face, don't push him out to the ground, don't get into a fight. That's meant to sort of control the flow of the game. It's not meant to penalize a player for celebrating. Like, what are we doing here? So I thought that was poor. Deshaun Jackson said in the MEAC coaches call that in his 30 years of football, he's never seen that, because that probably will never be seen again. And I think that referee needs some disciplinary action. because he need an anger management class or something. Like, dude, like just you got the ball 5 seconds later. Like you need to get in anger management, talk to your therapist, breathe. I can teach you some breathing techniques. My therapist from BetterHelp, like when I was doing BetterHelp last year, taught me before our last session. She gone now, so I've been breathing a lot. Okay, I mean, I can teach you that. I mean, like you can just pay me. I can teach you that. So I mean, like that was crazy to me. But I thought that Jaden came in, he did his thing. Marquise Gillis, him and the brother from North Carolina Central. I can't wait for that game. I cannot wait for that game because that's going to be a running back clinic that I think that NFL scouts should be watching because there's some great, as we already know, there's always great running back play in the MEAC, but Marquise Gillis is that guy. And you were right about Summers. Like Summers didn't have an amazing game, but I heard his name a lot for Sacred Heart. So I mean, like he's really good. Sacred Heart is better than I thought they were because I didn't get the opportunity to watch the Norfolk State Sacred Heart game because I couldn't find it. I didn't know where it was. So I didn't get a chance to watch the game, but Sacred Heart's really good. And they play Howard really soon. I wonder if they're going to go undefeated in the HBCU slate because you beat Vic, you beat Deshaun Jackson. Howard's doing pretty good, but Sacred Heart's a pretty good team.
Well, I think Sacred Heart, this win will boost them, but we also have to remind ourselves that Sacred Heart is third in FCS when it comes to third down. So having those conversions and Deshaun Jackson and that Delaware State team not able to do that, and I think mostly because of the ejection that happened, and even though they amounted to 10 penalties, trying to not get any more mistakes on the field, I just think, and not try to take away anything from Sacred Heart, this was just a lucky game. Your best player on the field is not there anymore. So yeah, ref, I need something to be talked about because if I didn't see the first unsportsmanlike conduct, give me some kind of like a flag on kickoff or something, like some kind of penalty, like delay a game, like you said, but just throwing a player out the game for high-fiving and not giving you the ball immediately, that's just crazy. That's really crazy.
I've grown to not like referees. I just sports has a refereeing problem, and I think we're now starting to talk about it more. I mean, even at the WNBA, you had my favorite player, Nafisa Collier. She called out the WNBA for how they're reffing, and then the NBA, we talk about it all the time. The referees are betting in the NBA back in the day with Tim Donaghy. You know what I'm saying? So it's like just the refereeing in sports is broken. And I don't know, and I know this will lead to a deeper conversation because I definitely want to hear your thoughts on this. I don't know if maybe it's time to say bump the human beings, get some AI out here. Okay, I don't know because I don't think AI would have had the human voice like, man, K didn't get out the game, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that would have happened. Like, the human error is messing up.
My Toyota Service Care AI consultant would not agree with you because she sounded human until she said, I'm an AI consultant. I said, girl, I thought you was a real person. But in some instances, like how AWS with Amazon Prime taking over Thursday Night Football, I do like how they use some of their AI technology for like first downs and convergence for that. If he's really close to the ball, the type of technology that they have for that, just to make sure that it's really a first down. But I think for the thing with AI, like they don't have emotions. So if a late hit was to happen for an unsportsmanlike contact on a quarterback or a defenseless player call was to happen, I don't really think AI could generate with its emotions or accurately how they feel if that was actually intent, or even the targeting calls that we see in college and that we also see in the NFL. Because if they assess it and be like, well, he got up, he might be okay, he didn't immediately pass out, it's not targeting, it's just roughing the passer. 5-10 yard penalty. No throwing now in unsportsmanlike 15 or half the distance to the goal line. They're not going to say that. So I think in that aspect, when it comes to defensive players called targeting unsportsmanlike conduct, I do think you need somebody that is a little human. But if we have to be like the NFL, we have to get specific, like the tush push is specific now. You have to get specific when it comes to pass interference. You can't start running off of a kickoff until somebody actually catches it into the 30 yards. Like there's so many specific rules that we have now. And if we have to get down to that in college football, then I'm willing to do that, because I was like, what is really unsportsmanlike conduct besides taunting and maybe doing an inappropriate celebration? like high-fiving some fans. Now, I mean, jumping into the stands, now you holding up a play. Listen, let me just call you for 10 yards. But just high-fiving and then I don't pass you the ball, bro. Like, he literally did run past the ref and then turn around and put it back. But, like, you just mad. You in your feelings, bro. And I get you want to go on to the next play. You want to kick this field goal. But, like, unnecessary, man. Unnecessary. And that calls for the firing. I mean, you can't change the game. There's nothing that you can do for the game, and we're not trying to mess up records. But if that calls for suspension, firing, or supervision, or violent, whatever it is, cool. But this should not happen again, because I dare another HBCU team to do it, and I want the same play called. And if it's not, I want that play under review.
Hey, I'm tell you what I think before we move on. Like, maybe that referee was trying to go home. Like, I don't know. Like maybe he's trying to get ready for Georgia, Alabama. Like, well, he was like, man, like I'm already ready to go now. It's too hot. Because it's like he like, I don't got to give me the ball now. Like, it's like it was only like 5 seconds after. Let that man celebrate. That is crazy. I'm like, if AI don't replace no jobs, it might need to replace his job. Okay, I don't know. Maybe not all referees, maybe him. You know what I mean? Because that was crazy to me. But listen, my game of the week was Alabama State versus FAMU. Arielle, I told you.
I'm so I didn't believe you, and I'm so sorry. Well, I didn't pick them, did I?
No, you picked Alabama State.
Okay.
We had the same picks. We had all the same picks. But you were like, you want to like maybe pump the brakes. No, they beat down FAMU. And the thing about it is that Andrew Body wasn't really even throwing the ball like that. It was really a rushing type of game. Like, they dominated that game on the ground, and Andrew Body made a lot of timely throws. I mean, this Alabama State team, I knew that eventually it would break through, because the years following Eddie Robinson Jr.'s first year, of course, we always talk about how he sort of announced his presence to the nation when he did the Deion Sanders who is SWAC moment. Like, no, he ain't SWAC, I'm SWAC. Like, that sort of announced his presence, and a lot of people started to take note of him, even though he's a former NFL player himself from Alabama State. But when you look at the teams following that 2022 year, they always were really good on defense. They were just a quarterback away. I mean, they had receivers, they had the running backs, they had a dominant defense. They just were a quarterback away. This year, I'm not as sold on their defense. I don't think they're terrible, but I don't think that defense is something we can say is dominant, because I'm not sold on FAMU's offense. I'm not sold on Southern's offense. And I want to see them go up against a highly touted offensive team that, of course, we'll talk about in my game of the week. But for me, the offense and the leadership of Andrew Body is really shining through. And I think that is going to be enough. And I'm not ready yet. I want to see what Jackson State does these next couple of weeks. And, of course, they play Jackson State on the 11th. But I honestly might be ready to call it. I honestly might. That they're going to win the SWAC East and they'll be in the SWAC Championship, because a great quarterback, as you know, that does that for you. Because I was thinking about it like this, because I had a lot of time to think during that game, okay? Because it wasn't competitive. So I'm sitting back and I'm like, what will Alabama State look like next year? Because I got to look up if Andrew Body is even like, is because I know he's had his redshirt years and things. Will he be able to come back? You know, like, is he done? Is he going to get some NFL buzz? Because Andrew Body is that good. So will it be a situation like FAMU where you have all these really good quarterbacks? Musa had to warm up. You've had other great quarterbacks at FAMU, but you had, Daniel Richardson last year that was FBS good. And from the moment he touched down at MEAC SWAC Challenge, he was the guy. And then you lose him and you bring in RJ Johnson III, and he's not it. And Jet Petty should be the starting quarterback. I don't understand the situation with Michael Vick, his quarterback situation, and Cozy and his quarterback situation. It's clear your starting quarterback is sitting on the bench. It's Jet Petty. I don't know why these coaches coddle their quarterbacks so much. And I get it. We don't want to ruin anybody's confidence. But if you're good, you're good. If you're winning, you're winning. If you're not, you're not. And that FAMU alumni base and that fan base will kick you to the curb. And now they've seen the success of Willie Simmons. They saw the Celebration Bowl for Willie Simmons left and went to Duke. So they know what success looks like. And historically, of course, FAMU is a blue blood football program. But currently, they've seen success. So with Cozy, he has to do something to maintain his job. He was saying, oh, well, we're going to stay up and we're going to figure this out. Man, I want to see it on the field, because the FAMU that I saw on Saturday, of course, was unrecognizable. And I'll say this too, and we covered it on HBCU Pulse, when the band announcer, Joe Bullard, for FAMU, the Marching 100, the band announcer, shout out to B-Dot, it wasn't him, it was Joe Bullard, because he made sure he let me know in the DMs, not B-Dot, or not Winston-Salem State alum, not B-Dot. But like, Joe Bullard said what he said about the honeybees, and that's the biggest story from that game. That's even bigger than Alabama State winning. You got a problem, because I get we're HBCUs, and we're going to talk about the band, and that was an incendiary comment I don't stand by. We don't stand by body shaming. But at the same time, that's the biggest story from the game, from where you had a winning streak from 2018. The last coach that beat you was the legendary Buddy Pugh in 2018, to last year when Mississippi Valley State beat you. You had literally a win streak at home that spanned 5 years, and you lose to Valley, then you get stomped by Alabama State, in which you've historically dominated them. So it's just, for me, FAMU has fallen off a cliff. And I honestly think, and I'm saying this, like I've called that Ray Lewis will be at Morgan State sometime in the future, but I think I'll be more accurate on this. Quinn Gray is going to be the coach of FAMU. Quinn Gray is going to be the coach of FAMU. He likely wins the SIC championship this year. We'll see what Edward Waters does. We'll see what Big Benedict's looking good in the SIC. But I think that Quinn Gray, he's figured it out. Isaiah knows his quarterback, and they go and they win the SIC. They make a little run, maybe just an appearance in the D2 playoffs. They get beat, and then Quinn Gray going into January is FAMU's coach, because Cozy ain't coming back. I don't see how he comes back from this, are you? I really don't. And I think that the FAMU fan base, who has a lot of sway, they got a lot of sway. I think that they're fed up with Cozy, and I'm not trying to call for anybody's job, especially a black man's job. I'm not trying to call for a black man's job. But at the same time, that ain't me saying it. It's what I'm hearing on Twitter. It's what I'm hearing on the different HBCU shows I listen to. It's what I'm seeing from the FAMU shows and the shows that they have. They're not satisfied. So FAMU is on high alert, and Alabama State, they're looking SWAC Championship good and Celebration Bowl good.
I'm just thinking this may be the year for D2 coaches just to move up. I mean, we see what we've done with Buddy Pugh. We're seeing what we're doing with Sam Shea. We're seeing what we're doing, unfortunately, with Sean Gibbs. But the A&T situation we already talked about is neither here nor there.
You said unfortunately.
Unfortunately, it's neither here nor there. But we are seeing these D2 coaches more or less step up into these D1 realms, and they're really starting to dominate and make certain things happen in this HBCU space. So I'm not upset, but seeing this FAMU and where they go, I mean, just Alabama State already scoring the first touchdown in the first quarter, and then going into the second quarter, you're already up 14-0. Then FAMU decides to finally score, but they missed the extra point. And that's how I know that this rest of the game is downhill. You go scoreless in the first and the third quarter, you're not coming back with that. As Andrew Body and his team get the final score of 41-14. I've never seen FAMU blown out that bad by an HBCU team. That's not in a minute. I
was gonna say Deion did. Deion did that.
Deion did in his years, but it's been a minute for FAMU to consistently be this bad 2 years in a row. It's something that we haven't seen before, and I don't know where they go from here. I don't know where they come back from that, but I do know that Andrew Body has it figured out, and this team is really making, and I'll give you that, they're making a really good contest as to who's really finna meet one of the top 3 teams in the MEAC down the line in December in Atlanta. But I'm not happy with FAMU's performance. I don't know what's going on down there, but I pray that they figure it out, because this is not the FAMU team that we know. This is not the FAM team that we're looking for, that we're used to. And seeing all these other teams kind of topple them, it's a little sad. It's kind of depressing. I do feel kind of bad for them, but all these teams have their years. It's just to have FAMU continuing to have this kind of year, it's upsetting.
Listen, I'm currently Googling like how quickly like you can get from Albany to Tallahassee. Okay, that's what I'm Googling right now. I'm trying to see if we can help Quinn Gray get down there quickly. Okay, when it's December, because I mean it's gonna be It's going to be around Christmas time. It only take an hour and 51 minutes, okay? Because Albany is in South Georgia, okay? And I know that as a Fort Valley alum, okay? Albany is in South Georgia. So that basically Florida, okay? Basically Florida. So listen, an hour and 51 minutes with light traffic, okay? So I'm telling you, don't do a search. Don't do a search. Quinn Gray, like this man came in and almost beat y'all with Albany State when y'all look down on D2 football. And then you had James Colsey that gets destroyed by Alabama State. So listen, your coach is only an hour and 51 minutes away. He can stay in Albany. Okay, he can drive that. There's people that lived in Atlanta, drove down to Fort Valley and talked. I was like, how y'all did that, man? Y'all got some dedicated. Y'all love HBCUs because that's crazy. But I'm telling you, like he is an hour and 51 minutes away. And we know in Albany State, they're going to be just fine because they find a way to pick some coaches, okay? They find a way to pick some coaches at Albany State that's going to somehow, some way beat Fort Valley, okay? So they're going to be fine. Quinn Gray can go. He can go get his money, go turn his alma mater around, okay? But Quinn Gray is going to be wearing orange and green next year because I don't see, because they're out of the SWAC championship picture. And if I'm wrong, I am wrong. I'm fine with that. But what I see, unless they put in Jet Petty and they find a way to actually move the ball down the field and stop people, I'm telling you, James Colsey can go back to Florida State. Well, go back to Florida State.
I just think between Michael Vick and we're talking about Colsey, I understand and I have some kind of sympathy because I do with NFL quarterbacks, having a quarterback that you really want to mentor. If we want to talk about that, we talk about Spencer Rattler for the Saints. We're talking about Mariota for the Redskins. Those are really great quarterbacks, but not having the certain kind of coaching that you need and the team and the players that you have to be really great, you're not going to show it. So with Michael Vick's situation, I do see potential in the quarterback he keeps putting in. I do. But for Colsey, you're about to go into your 6th game. You are now 1-3. You can't keep relying on the same quarterback that is not doing it for you going into this next game because something has to change. And it's either the quarterback is going to change or your job position does. That's kind of where we're at right now. Michael Vick is only in his first year. He's not going anywhere, and I pray he doesn't go anywhere. But after this season, he's going to know that, hey, even with me, I had to move around. There are certain situations that I did not play full games, and he will understand that he has time to. Colsey does not. You're going into this week's game, you got to make a quarterback decision or you got to make a job decision because you can't have both.
Listen, Michael Vick ain't going nowhere, okay? Michael Vick ain't going nowhere, but the unemployment line, we don't even need to go there.
Listen,
okay?
That's about to be frozen with this government shutdown. They say it's going to keep going, but how long we going to be shut down to keep it going is a little shaky right now.
I don't think Michael Vick need it, but they'll unfreeze it for him. Okay, they'll unfreeze it because he that's the only place he's going. He ain't going nowhere. I'm pretty sure the Virginia Tech conversation has died down, but
he'll go back to ESPN. He was a great commentator. I actually did enjoy him.
He got better. When he was at Fox, he definitely got better.
Yeah, I enjoyed him at Fox. He left too soon because I really think he has some momentum there. But it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. You're right.
Right now.
You're right. He probably would. But you know what's so crazy? I just realized this. They having a BET show of Michael Vick's first season.
And it's gonna look real as we seeing it. It's gonna look real. It's looking real scary.
They gonna have to call that Michael Vick Road to Redemption.
Already have JK. Move on. It's so easy. I hate black people. It's so easy. We gotta stop, man.
The other one was called the Michael Vick Project. Okay, this one's gonna be called Michael Vick Road to Redemption. The big storyline is that you got this quarterback that is clearly better than Israel Carter at this point. And then he plays them and they do well. They lose, but it ain't Otto Kuhn's fault. But then you put Israel Carter back in. Everybody's like, why he keep playing Israel Carter? I cannot tell you why James Colsey keeps playing R.J. Johnson. I do not know. But I know why Vic keeps playing Israel Carter. I'm telling you, I see it. He's wearing number 7. Vic sees Israel Carter as him for some reason. And I think one of the main reasons is his playing style. He's wearing number 7. Like Deion told all them folks, Deion Sanders told all them Jackson State folks, you're not wearing number 21. And guess who wore number 21? Shiloh. And that looked crazy to me. I'm like, how you gonna tell them y'all not wearing my number, but then Shiloh wearing 21? You know what I'm saying? So like that was crazy to me at that time. But it's crazy now that you got Israel Carter wearing 7, and then like he's not even living up to the legacy that you have for him. And I'm not saying he won't be better, but I just think that Michael Vick can't not personalize this. Like he plays a little bit like you, but he ain't you.
He said play your own game. That was the advice that Deion Sanders gave us. So if he wants to play by those rules and he wants to make a Michael Vick mini-me, do it. His mini-me is over at Alabama State, Andrew Body. But he don't have those choices right now. So like I said, Israel Carter is not bad. And if that's who's really going to be with you for a long run, he's the freshman. Otto Coons is almost out of here. So you got to build somebody. But if you need to go somewhere, I would say let Otto Coons play to the end of the season, probably go into his last season next year and see how that rides out. You got Israel Carter for 3 more years. But I can see what he's doing, and I completely understand. Also, to your point, Shiloh deserved to wear number 21. I know he's not his favorite. I really know that. But this man is a beast. One of the best, one of the, not greatest, but a really, really potentially great DB. And the fact that people don't see that, they're all busy with Shador or his daughter and his other kids. The fact that everybody is asleep on Shiloh is what really everybody's going to wake up once he really start playing.
The reason why I didn't like that is because I felt as if it was an air of unfairness when it already was an air of nepotism that he had to fight against. Because I don't think it was wrong that he brought in Shador and Shiloh, because I think that would help Vic out. Whereas like, hey, I got players already ready to come in, because Deion timed going to Jackson State perfectly, because Shador was about to come out of high school. And then of course, COVID sort of made it where that was a thing too, because they didn't play in the fall. Shador was about to come out of high school, start college in 21. Shiloh was about to transfer over. You know what I'm saying? Then Travis was coming that next year, and you got some other guys. So Deion had guys coming in. See, and that's the thing when it comes to Michael. And I know we were talking about family, but that's how much that game mattered at this point. So like, be honest, we talking about something else now. So like, my thing is that when it comes to Michael Vick, and we'll move on in a second, but when it comes to Michael Vick and like him trying to sort of follow that Deion Sanders road, it's different things that Deion did that Eddie George didn't do. That, you know, Eddie George's son played for him at Tennessee State and currently plays for him, but that Michael Vick didn't do, that Deshaun Jackson didn't do. But the thing with Deshaun, going back to your game of the week, is that Deshaun had that coaching experience at Woodrow Wilson High School with Travis Clark, and he has an amazing coaching staff around him that's also able to help him in the ways that he's not a coach. He needs to develop as a coach. He has Travis Clark. He has all the other guys on that coaching staff to help him. With Michael Vick, like Vick sort of came in like, I'm going to get all the recruits when it's an NIL type of vibe. And yeah, like, you know, that changed in 2021 right before Deion got there. But Deion's a better salesperson. And Deion is Deion. The only comparable that I could think in my mind, because a lot of people have been trying to figure it out. And this is not going to happen because Jordan said he does not want to coach. But if Michael Jordan started coaching basketball, even that's not saying, because basketball and football are different. You know, because basketball is only like 12 roster spots. Football, you have multiple positions and a whole entire roster, the scholarships and all that. But if Michael Jordan started saying, I want to be the coach, and he went to go coach at A&T or somewhere, and then he went to like maybe, I don't know what comparable basketball school, like to Colorado, but like that would be the only comp. Because Deion Sanders is Michael Jordan, essentially. And Michael Jordan is Deion Sanders. Like, that was who they were in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? So like, Michael Vick was that for us, especially us being from Georgia. He was that for us, but you don't just start learning, you don't start winning through osmosis. And that's why, for me, I hated the Virginia Tech conversations, because he didn't deserve that. And I'm not saying that to badger Michael Vick, because it's his first year, and it is unfair for everybody to be like, oh, he's not good. That's unfair. But it's also unfair that he gets this buzz to go to Tech, because that's his alma mater, and he's Michael Vick, when there's better coaches that, number one, didn't get the opportunity like Brent Pry, but also that aren't getting called up. Because there's this conception of, oh, well, if you coach at HBCU, you're gonna be there forever, and then that's the conception that a lot of players feel, and a lot of these coaches feel. Well, if you coach at an HBCU, that's gonna be where you are. That's even why Willie Simmons left. So that's the conception in folks' minds. And we talked about before, is Chennis Berry gonna go up if he just is successful at South Carolina State, or he's gonna do the Buddy Pugh route, right? But will Chennis Berry get that opportunity? Because maybe Chennis Berry or Trey Oliver or some of these other folks or Dr. Frazier, you know what I'm saying? Like someone that's in Virginia State Union, like maybe there's other HBCU coaches that should be in the mix to be at Tech. Not Michael Vick, who it should be 0-5. He should be 0-5. If Virginia State makes that field goal at the end of regulation, they lose that rivalry game. He should be 0-5. But we have this fealty to celebrities in this country that I do not understand. In politics, in media, in podcasting, in journalism, it's this love and fealty for celebrity and cult of personalities that has our brains warped. Because why are we talking about, man, Vic? One day, Vic needs to coach at Norfolk State right now. He needs to win an FCS game. He needs to beat Hampton. He needs to win a game in the MEAC. Let me stop. It got me hot already. Because it's crazy to me, the conversations we have.
That's where we're at right now. You know, and shout out to UVA for unfortunately beating my Florida State team.
Yeah, they did.
That
is the player okay that fell and he they trampled over him?
Yeah, he's okay.
Oh man!
Oh my gosh, why'd you twitch like that? You didn't have to.
They ran out there. They was like, da-da. You know what I'm saying? That was the craziest. This is an HBCU show, but I got to say this too. That is insane. Ban storming the field. Ban it. We don't do it at HBCUs because we know every single black person that comes on that field getting arrested. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, they gonna find us. They gonna have us on camera. They go, that's Randall. Okay.
Yeah. like even in my years at A&T, they allowed us to storm the field, but you couldn't storm the field, or out of respect, we didn't storm the field until like the team, like we could see the teams walking out. So like the people that are on the track, they started it. And then after that, you see people kind of going over that long wall. Surprisingly, nobody got hurt. But you have people going over that wall, but the team is literally walking back to the locker room. So you see the rest, but like storming as soon as that field goal is kicked. As soon as we couldn't make that touchdown, as if I played for Florida State team, as soon as we didn't make that touchdown in overtime, you stormed the field and hurt that player is absolutely crazy. And I guess they couldn't really arrest or find anybody because you can't really see who did it. Everybody did it. How many people are you going to arrest and find? Like there's so much. But of course, finding the school, disciplinary action, yes, but he's absolutely okay. But listen, I'm not gonna lie, as a sports fan, I love a good storming on the field. But in like, you know, sensitivity and like let's have some kind of decorum, let's at least let players leave. And then like, you know, because that was actually wild on the fact that we lost and wild on the fact that players are getting hurt.
Like, yeah, y'all almost lost a player too. I'm like, because I honestly was like, because like I feel as if we're gonna move on to game of the week, but I just feel like with athletes, we forego their humanity in a way. And I'll say this, I've said this on Twitter before. I'll say it here. You know, of course you heard of Mamba mentality when it comes to Kobe, like Mamba mentality, and a lot of athletes across sports, they take that Mamba mentality on. Job's not finished. Everybody says that they imitate Kobe, especially after Kobe passed away, and even sort of that Michael Jordan mindset of what a champion is, right? And I think that, especially, and I say this as a basketball fan, I think that mindset has poisoned the brains of athletes and sports fans, because I think that it's a lack of humanity that we give to athletes. Because I think in that situation, like, you're not gonna wait until that guy gets up. We don't even know he might have caught the ball. We don't know, but you're not gonna wait till he gets up to storm the field. You're gonna shoot birds at those players. But if they rock you Now they're in trouble. Now they're suspended. You know what I'm saying? Like we're gonna say, oh, this player like Asia Wilson can't celebrate. Like you beat the Fever without Caitlin Clark. You can't celebrate going to WNBA finals. So I can't celebrate an achievement that is huge in my professional career that we judge legacies off of. How many finals you go to, how many finals you win. After they were porous in June, they got beat by 50 points by the Lynx. Now they're in the finals. Or someone like Lamar Jackson, where it's like, hey, Lamar quit on his team. He has a hamstring injury. Oh, he quit. He's scared of Mahomes. Like we take away the humanity from these players, and it makes me sick. It honestly really does. And I think that to a certain point even ties back to the FAMU situation where I look at dancers as athletes. I look at cheerleaders as athletes. I look at dancers as athletes. Even what Joe Bullard said, he apologized when it came to the honeybees. Like the reason why it's a problem is not cancel culture. The reason why even that was a problem is because of a shared humanity that we have as Black folks and as HBCU alumni to say, hey, we see those young women and they're amazing. They're amazing dancers. Why would someone say what he said? Because it's never that deep, especially if we're talking about we all an HBCU family, which is a fallacy. We're all an HBCU family. Why would Joe Bullard say that? And then that literally overshadows the game that happened. Because damn, you lost, but everybody should be marveling at, man, Andrew Body's really good. Or man, we need to figure out what's going on with FAMU. But literally the whole entire conversation was dictated around what he said to the honeybees. I wrote the articles on it on Saturday. I'm writing all the articles and stuff, all the updates. That's like my second most viewed article on Clutch Points because that was the conversation. But when I wrote my recap about how good Alabama State did, people read it, but it wasn't as many people that read, oh, the announcer said this. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like to tie it all together, we have to have more humanity in sports. We have to, because these young men and young women are throwing their bodies on the line. Look at what's happened to Tariq Hill. You know what I'm saying? I just think, I just think we have to have more humanity.
Yeah, that was crazy. And quick 2 points. So sorry about that beat down y'all took on Sunday as well.
My God.
Absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. But I forgot my other point. I was so shocked about what happened, but I pray he's okay. But I was just like, oh gosh.
But I'll say this about the Ravens game. I'll say this.
I don't think you have
Spags.
Anything else, Randall?
No. Okay. Okay. Real quick, Spags is an amazing DC. The Ravens should hire him anyway. Got the money. Listen. I tell Lamar we getting Spags. He'll give up some of that money anyway. He'll be like, oh, y'all get him. All right. So games of the week. So you have Jackson State versus Alabama A&M. So tell us about that game. That's going to be a pretty game.
Yeah, I'm actually in your neck of the woods. And the reason why I'm super excited about this game, because we finally get to talk about the unsung hero, the tight end of Alabama A&M. I am so freaking excited to see this battle between a wide receiver and a really great, tall, tough, strong. Not like that, y'all. But this time, Abner, man, is nothing to play about. And I think he's one of the main reasons that Alabama right now is 3-2 in their record. But of course, you have Jackson State, this blue blood program that's doing really, really good. Their QB Morgan is looking actually very nice. I don't think Jackson State has really had a bad QB problem. They had their rough points when it comes to their penalties and trying to hold a strong defensive line throughout the whole game. But both of these teams have looked really, really well in this quarter. I think what's going to be really the talk of the town is if Abner can keep this momentum and keep going and be Brown's really nice receiver and one of his main targets. Because if you shut down Abner, you have a point to win this game. And I think probably out of all the games that we've seen, this may be one of the closest and actually one of the shootouts that we've been waiting for. So I'm very excited to see this Jackson State and Alabama A&M game. This kind of brings me back to where we first started in 2021 when Alabama A&M had a really good quarterback, had a really good game, kind of fell off a little bit, but now they're really trying to fight to stay in it. And Jackson State always having that kind of consistency, but can they hold it off against what I think will be two problems, Edwards and Abner. But let's not sleep on Miller. Let's not sleep on Dupree. Dupree's a really, really great wide receiver on their ends, but I'm ready to see this battle. I love a good tight end. I love a good weapon. It just makes me happy. So I'm excited for them to see go head to head, and I'm excited to see what this game will bring. I mean, Saturday at 5 p.m., that's prime time in HBCU to me. I'm ready for it.
Jackson State is going to beat them bad. I have nothing more. They lost to Bethune-Cookman, okay, and maybe Bethune-Cookman got. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe Raymond Woody going to stay around, but no, I have nothing more to give. I love Sam Shade. I think the offense is amazing. Their defense is not good. Jackson State is gonna beat them probably pretty decisively. It's gonna be bad because what I saw from Jackson State is prime. They're primed for like a run. They might try to run the table in HBCU football, like on some A&T type stuff. Well, I'm telling you, like they might be the 2020 North Carolina A&T 2020s because like they got a right. And Jacoby Morgan is struggling. Don't get me wrong, he's struggling. He is, but I think he's gonna find his way. He's a great quarterback. So like I think, and I got love Alabama A&M. Jackson State is gonna win this game. And I have nothing more to say. They lost to Bethune-Cookman. Alabama A&M lost to Bethune-Cookman. I have nothing more to say.
I'll take that. And I'm going to hold your virtual hand as I say this. I'm willing to risk my pick, and I'm going for Alabama A&M.
All right. So I guess that's the first discrepancy since last week. Like you remember during the UNC game, they had this quarterback hasn't completed a pass in 2 hours. Like we haven't had a pick discrepancy in 10 days. Like it's crazy.
Right. For some odd reason, this year we've just been neck and neck. It's usually me. This week it might be me. But listen, because some of these games, when you explain it, were upsets that I did not predict, but I'm here for it. I'm here for this risk. I'll take this risk. This next one though, we might agree.
Yeah, but I'll just say that like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Alabama A&M, but I really have nothing more to say. Like because I just expected their offense to reign supreme over Bethune-Cookman, and they got beat. And I just there's nothing more to say when you go back and watch that game against Southern. I have nothing more to say. So I'm sorry. If you want a deeper analysis, go watch the Jackson State Southern game. You'll see why I'm saying this. So Bethune-Cookman versus Alabama State is my game of the week. Maybe Bethune-Cookman, Raymond Woody gonna have a job. Maybe he's gonna have a job because maybe he's figured something out that maybe we didn't see. And maybe it started against South Carolina State when they scored 41 points to South Carolina State's 55. Maybe that was the sign. And then when I thought that we both thought that Edward Waters would beat them, like how Clark Atlanta did, and they dropped 35 on them, like maybe that was the sign that we needed, that Bethune-Cookman is not going anywhere near the SWAC championship, or anywhere near the Celebration Bowl. Like, they might go to Atlanta for like a vacation, or like, or maybe their players going to go to Atlanta for Christmas, but like they're not going to be there for the Celebration Bowl, but they can ruin some people's chances. You know what I'm saying? And that's what got me a little bit nervous, because Alabama State's defense, I'm not as sold on them as I have been in the past, but I feel like they almost sacrificed a good defense for a good offense. They're like, we're going to sacrifice this dominant defense, this hard-hitting defense, to bring back Andrew Body and have him play like he's actually Michael Vick. You know what I mean? So like, I'm a little bit nervous because this could derail my Alabama State to the Celebration Bowl pre-pick. I'm not fully picked them yet, but my pre-pick, it could mess me up because Bethune-Cookman's offense looks crazy. They've been putting up crazy points. Now I'm picking Alabama State. I'm not going to pick against Andrew Body in this situation, and that offense that can run on the ground. You can do it through the air. I'm not going to bet against them or an Eddie Robertson Jr. defense. But we saw that a shootout, when it's a shootout like with UAB, they can have a shootout. And Andrew Body can stand in that pocket and he can make plays. He can also make plays with his legs. So I'm not saying that it's a shootout that Alabama State won't be ready for it, because they've already been in a shootout. But I don't think it's going to be 7 points or 14 points against Bethune-Cookman. I could be wrong, but I think we getting into the 20s and the 30s, maybe the 40s. Because this offense is crazy. So I'm picking Alabama State. Bethune-Cookman, they showed me something last week.
I believe Alabama State is going to win this game, but I'm going to be more decisive and say, even though Bethune-Cookman may put up points, I think this is a 15-point plus game. There's still going to be a huge difference between what Bethune-Cookman puts up and what Alabama State is going to do. But you just have to, you got to think about Andrew Body. You got to think about this offense, because even if they do let Bethune-Cookman score, you still have an offense that knows how to score right back, and also is really good at 2-point conversions, which is also really good at having multiple weapons on the field, which also has a dual threat quarterback, which also has a coach that now knows how to use his dual threat quarterback. So me thinking about this offense going against Bethune-Cookman, I do agree. The defense looks a little shaky, but I'd rather have an offense that can score and that can keep me in the game than to have a defense do their job and then I can't score when I need to score. So I think they're safe. And I think I can say decisively that this could be a 10-point plus game, but I'm not ruling Bethune-Cookman out. I know they're going to put points on the board because they're not going out sad, but I don't think it's going to be a close game. Not at the least.
Okay. I mean, that's all right. I can take that. I still think it's going to, because I'm telling you what woke me up. When they put up 41 points when they lost to South Carolina State. And I know someone can say, well, it was garbage time stuff. But 41 points, then 35 points, then you put up a crazy offensive game against an Alabama A&M team that clearly can move the ball. And Cornelius Brown, for what I see, he didn't play when I was watching the game. I was sort of looking for him, like, where's he at? He didn't play. But still, Alabama A&M's offense looks amazing under Sam Shea. But Bethune-Cookman, they could spoil some stuff. And I'll say this. And you're going to look at me so crazy when I say this.
I'm already looking at you crazy.
That Florida Classic, FAMU versus Bethune-Cookman. I don't know. We'll wait, but I don't know.
I'll wait till after this Alabama State game, win or lose. That's really going to tell me how we go into this Florida Classic. I'm not all the way looking at you crazy, but I'm still simmering. I haven't fully whistled yet. I'm still simmering. I'm still simmering. I gotta wait for that. I have to wait.
Hilarious. So let's get to our quick picks. So last week we both had the exact same picks. So I didn't need Gemini. Okay, we don't need AI to do simple math. Okay, so basically. We got Alabama State, Richmond, Wagner, North Carolina Central, Texas Southern, Jackson State, UAPB, Tennessee Tech, Maine, and Elon correct. So we got 10 correct. We got 3 wrong. So South Carolina State and Chennisberry got beat by Charleston Southern and Gabe Gardenia, an old SIAC little mini rivalry. Gabe Gardenia got his lick back, and they were winless. That's crazy, Chennisberry. Alabama A&M got beaten by Bethune-Cookman. So we were wrong about that, and that is crazy.
Super crazy.
And, of course, we know Delaware State got the game stolen from them by Sacred Heart, okay? And we have an AI computer going over to replace that referee's job, okay? We got a Terminator coming, okay? I'm telling you, because something got to happen with him. So 55-18. We're both 55-18 going into this week as homecoming is starting to really kick off. All right. So let's get into the SWAC schedule. So first and foremost, I have Florida A&M versus Mississippi Valley State listed. They will not be playing on this weekend. They're going to be playing on November the 29th. And just to do a little bit of reporting, they were supposed to play in the Georgia Football Classic. That was sponsored by 100 Black Men and a few other different entities. But it was some discrepancies that occurred. And in August, that game was sort of thrown in flux. So Mississippi Valley, they're hosting this game because it's their home game. So they rightly decided that they should play the game in Mississippi Valley. The problem is that you got to give the fans time to refund their tickets, get their money back, make their flights. So they're going to be playing this on Thanksgiving weekend. So that's going to be something that, we're going to have to wait to see what happens with that. And that might actually end up being a really good game, but it gets sort of tricky there. So they're not going to be playing this weekend. So Prairie View A&M versus Alcorn. Who you got?
You know, I've actually been waiting for this game. Not because they're good, but just to see who's better than the other. You know? That sounds really mean, but like that's really where it comes down to. And and this actually scares me, and I hate it here. I really do. If I had to choose the lesser of two evils, I'm gonna go with Prairie View.
That's a good choice. I still got faith in Prairie View. It's the first year. And I know that when Tremaine Jackson was at Valdosta State, it took him some time. I think that next year is going to be the year where it really truly gets crazy for like the whole entire SWAC. But nah, like Prairie View has this. Alcorn is not that great right now. They need somebody. I don't know why Alcorn, because I remember you said that you want Alcorn to get back to where they were. Yeah, back when they were playing North Carolina A&T. We want both schools to get back where they were, because both of them struggling right now. But A&T look better than Alcorn, though. I'll tell you that much. They look better than Alcorn. So Alcorn need to figure it out.
That's not really saying much, but appreciate. It's not really saying much.
But I'm looking at like y'all only lost by 7 points to Maine, so I mean that's not bad. So I mean, I gotta give you that. A&T, I gotta give you that. But Alcorn looks horrible. Like y'all look better than Alcorn. I'll give you that. But I'm telling you like that. Like if you take somebody back to the past that don't know HBCU football and they see Alcorn in like 4 celebration bowls at A&T, they'll be like, how? I'm telling you, like take it back to the past. But Texas Southern versus UAPB. Who you got on this one?
I'm tired of not being sure. Honestly, I'm so scared for this week. I really am. I'm gonna go Texas Southern.
I am too. I still don't have enough faith in UAPB, but they won that game last week. But I still don't have enough faith in them to say that they're going to definitively win this game. So in the MEAC, Delaware State versus Monmouth. Who you got here?
And this one is actually tricky because I don't think there has been any updates since that ejection with Caden Bennett since our Delaware State game. So if he does not play, because Monmouth is a pretty good school, but I think with him, I think they can win. If he does not, and right now I'm just gonna have to risk it because there are no updates to whether he's playing or not, what kind of consequences will follow. If he does not play in this game, I believe they lose. If he does play, if it comes out that he is going to play, that there's some disciplinary action outside of him not being able to play against Monmouth, my pick is Delaware State. So for right now, and I'm just gonna have to go on record and let AI be AI, I'm going with Delaware State. But I'm letting you know right now, if we get an update that he is not playing in this game due to the ejection of what happened last game, they're losing. And that's
So I'm looking at Monmouth. They're 3-1. They look like they're a very efficient scoring team. Mm-hmm. I don't think that I don't know this for sure, but I don't think that Caden Bennett will get in trouble, because I think that people will look at what that was, and even what Deshaun Jackson has said, where it's like never in his 30 years has he seen what happened on Saturday. I don't think it'll be any disciplinary action against him. I think that he'll play, and I think that Delaware State will win, and this will be another huge win as they head into homecoming. I think this will be a win that really shakes up the HBCU football space. People are seeing Delaware State, but I think now is going to be some conversations. Like what happens against North Carolina Central? What happens against South Carolina State? Do they beat Howard? I think that if they win this one, because Monmouth is good and they're a proficiently scoring team, I think there's going to be some conversations. But we agree. We have a lot of faith in Delaware State and Deshaun Jackson. So we both agree on that one. But here's the thing. Norfolk State versus Hampton. Michael Vick plays his first FCS HBCU game. And fun fact, Kajafa Vick is Michael Vick's wife. And she is an amazing producer, media member. She actually produced the Michael Vick project seriously with BET. So that's really dope. And she's a Hampton graduate. She went to Hampton. And she's fully repping for Norfolk State. But they said in that press conference back in December that, it's going to be up when it's Hampton versus Norfolk State. Now, they're playing under very strenuous circumstances, because I think that Miss Vick needs to root for her husband. like she can't, like, we're at Norfolk State. what, like, she can dress. She can dress. Where that Norfolk State fit for him? Okay, like, just be on Norfolk State sideline, because we're gonna postpone the rivalry the next year. Okay, like, you on Norfolk State side, but Arielle, who you got?
Listen, in my family, but also how we do down here, your team is your team. We love you anyway. And I think Shorty just needs to go ahead and rep Hampton real quick this weekend, because I don't think this win is happening. As much as they will try to fight, I don't think they're beating Hampton this weekend. If he does, I will probably be wrong on this. But my pick is on Hampton. I just don't think he's willing to set aside his pride in this quarterback pick. And I understand. I understand that you want to grow this freshman really bad. But to your point, Randall, if he's not willing to set aside his pride, or at least have Otto Coons play for the first half, and then, do whatever he needs to do, he's going to lose this game. It's not a bad team that he has. He has a good team. He does have a good team. He has some nice people. They're not playing well right now against other teams together, and that's really on him as a coach. Not saying he's a bad coach, but he's going through some hurdles as well. But if you can't get past your hurdle of your QB, you are losing this Hampton game. And at least you'll have a happy wife. You'll have a happy wife when you get home. And that's going to be okay. She's still going to love you, sweetheart, boo-boo. It's okay. But she going to be a happy wife. It's going to be okay. She going to be cooking and everything. He's not going to be a happy wife. Well, she'll be a happy wife if they win, because he really does need this win for his job. But, like, she'll be an even happier wife if Hampton comes out and beats them. Even happier.
Even happier. Oh, man. So this is actually tough for me, because I have zero faith in Vic right now. But I have less faith in Hampton, and I picked Hampton to beat A&T, and they didn't get the job done. So I might need to pick Norfolk State. I'm not gonna lie to you.
That was a miracle game. I just want to let you know that was a
miracle. I know, but, like, I don't like how they look. I thought they'd be real good with Isaiah Freeman. That was at Lincoln University of Pennsylvania. I thought they'd be better. They struggling right now, and I think that we could run into a situation where Vic beats the HBCUs and loses to the white schools. I think that we might be in that. Well, not totally, because he's going to lose to, like, South Carolina State and North Carolina Central. But he beats the HBCUs that he's supposed to beat. And then people start to say, well, we might can hire Vic. Like, I'm telling you, like, I think that might be something that happens. So I will pick Norfolk State, and I just believe that Miss Kajafa Vic, needs to root for Norfolk State as well. Okay, I don't think she needs to be like, yes, it's Battle of the Bay. No. She needs to. I'm telling you, go look at her Instagram. She can dress. I'm telling you, what Michael Vick needs to win is that he's out there, he's getting ready for the game, and then she comes out in, like, the most fire college fit. Norfolk State got some good stuff, like the most fire, like a Norfolk State Letterman jacket or something. And it say Vic on the back. Like, she got money. She can have it done express. Like, come on. Like, no, don't root for Hampton. Root for Norfolk State, Miss Vic. Okay. So South Carolina State versus Savannah State. So fun fact here, and I'm pretty sure you already know this, Arielle, but just for the audience, because, a lot of folks don't follow D2 football, and they slept on Savannah State when they went to MEAC. Chennis Berry is an alumnus of Savannah State. And this is also South Carolina State's homecoming. So this is actually probably really big for him, because he loves Savannah State. Like, we don't talk about it often, because when he was in the SIAC, he coached Benedict, but he loves Savannah State. And also another fun fact, he was in the running for that job, but before they went with the coach that they went with, because I don't know if Colton was their pick, but they went with another coach outside of Chennis Berry. Fort Valley was also in contention as well. And Chennis Berry coached at Fort Valley, and we didn't get him. He did. He coached on his kid's school field. Yeah, and he went to A&T after that. So, I mean, but he's at South Carolina State now. So who you got?
I have South Carolina State. I was just waiting for you to get through the monologue, preacher, because I'm just like, love Savannah State. They are a great team, but South Carolina State, they gotta keep this thing. They gotta keep things rolling. So, listen, great, beautiful story. Oh man, I'm back out. Listen, if they did an ESPN, like you know how they do like the backstories for the draft, and they have this whole nice little piano music about where if they did that for that man, it would be beautiful. The storyline is beautiful. They still finna win though. That's all that matters. Just a beautiful story as to why he had to be his alma mater.
I tell ESPN Plus ain't doing that.
They're not. They definitely not. They're definitely not. They don't care. They don't care about that because they really didn't show that in Travis Hunter's backstory. It was like, oh, Jackson State for like 5 seconds. Just how, Jamie Foxx was a black man for 5 seconds. And so it was like, we got to skip to the point what he did at Colorado. And da-da-da-da-da-da. Story. Jaguars. Shout out them. They're having a really great season. So.
I wouldn't say great, but
it's
not bad. Yeah, we go through happens later on in the season, and we won't got Savannah State is mid. They're not. We won't got a lot of they good. Like they're okay. Yeah, and Fort Valley plays them soon, so they could, like I'm not gonna be there, but like they could prove me wrong. But no, I don't. They're not good this year.
I just love how you have to keep throwing in your school, but it is your homecoming week, so I'm gonna let you ride.
It's the tie. I'm telling you, it's the truth. Chennis Berry was in the running to be the coach at Fort Valley. When he was at Southern, he interviewed, and for some reason, Maurice Flowers is good, but I would rather have Chennis Berry. Okay,
I'm not saying you lying. I'm just saying, just everybody knows it's y'all homecoming this week. They don't.
No, not everybody. Everybody doesn't know that. Not everybody. It's only 4 of it. It's Alabama State, South Carolina State, Fort Valley, and Bluefield. So Alabama State, they might think about Alabama State and South Carolina State before us. I'm just going. I am an honest person. Okay, but yes, I agree with you that South Carolina State will beat Savannah State. Okay, now Morgan State versus Georgetown. Now, I don't know if you see this on the document.
I do.
I want to specify this is Allen Iverson Georgetown. This is like the real basketball playing Georgetown, but they play football. Okay? So
yo. Is this supposed to change my decision?
Does it? I don't know.
No, me and Morgan State. This is like me and Derek Carr. I can't like them for any reason. I don't know why. They don't do it for me, man. You already know who my pick is. I don't care. I don't care who they play. I don't care if it's even a winnable game. I'm never going to choose them. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm choosing the Georgetown Hoyas as well. They're 2-3. They beat Davidson, which is Steph Curry's old school, 51-14. They beat Wagner, who just beat Michael Vick, 31-20. They lost to Lafayette College, 37-42. They got beat down by Brown University, 46-0, and then they lost to Columbia, 19-10. Okay, it's interesting. So they playing Morgan State. Morgan State almost got walked down by Miles, so I'm picking Morgan State. They almost got walked down by Miles. Ray Lewis, check your inbox.
Don't listen to him.
Check your inbox around December. Check your inbox around December. That's all I'm saying.
Don't listen.
He said what? Don't listen to him.
Please.
Don't listen to him. All right, we need that. You know how many people gonna be watching us? If Ray Lewis comes to Morgan State or Baltimore needs some hope, Arielle. You was talking about how the Chiefs got beat the Ravens. Baltimore needs some hope.
Not that kind of hope.
Not that kind of hope.
Not that kind of hope. You playing now.
Hilarious. Okay, so Tennessee State versus Eastern Illinois. What you got?
It's been really rough actually for both teams. Tennessee State 1-3, Eastern Illinois 2-2. But I mean, though the Eastern Illinois, it doesn't really tell the whole story. Just they've been okay. Each of these teams has been okay, and Tennessee State is kind of going through a rebuild, I guess, right now again. For like the second or third time within their 2 years, so it's not great. I really want to give it to Tennessee State, but I don't think I can. I'm gonna choose Eastern Illinois.
I choose Eastern Illinois as well. I think that Reggie Barlow and that Tennessee State group, I think that they need some more seasoning.
Yeah.
And we need some more time. But I got faith in Reggie Barlow and that coaching staff if he keeps them, because you know that guys leave and stuff like that. But like I think that they're gonna have something cooking next year. I might need to say this. I don't think they should have beat A&T. I don't think they should have beat A&T. I mean, I know it's playing on the field, but I don't think it should have beat A&T.
We appreciate your condolences. Well,
Condolences. But people will look at Sean Gibbs differently if he won his first game against Tennessee State. People will look at him differently. And then the way that game went, I feel like it'd be a lot of very different conversations about Sean Gibbs if he went and won that first game. And I was secretly rooting for y'all. I didn't tell you. I was like, come on, A&T. It didn't happen. Tennessee State, I feel like that win got everybody like, oh, Reggie Barlow gonna come in and he gonna make it as good as what Eddie George did, and it's not happening. So I choose Eastern Illinois as well. So of course we always end with North Carolina A&T, just for you, okay? North Carolina A&T versus William and Mary, and we have a running joke: William, Mary, and Joseph. Yeah, and Jesus. Yeah, like, and William and Mary actually is dope. They got I think they got a couple like NFL coaches that went there. Like William and Mary, they got like a little pipeline. So they got some good stuff going on. So
historically, I don't think we ever beat William and Mary, and I was high key wrong in the past couple of games. I hate to do this. I'll be Aggie Pride next week. William and Mary. I don't see it this week. I would love to be wrong. I'm here for being wrong, but I'm going with William and Mary.
I'm going with William and Mary too. Now they're not as great as they normally are. They're 2-3. They lost to Furman 21-23. They beat Maine 28-27. They lost to Virginia, who also beat Florida State 55-16. I had to throw that in. They beat Charleston Southern 34-7. They lost to Villanova 31-24. Mm-hmm. And really quickly, I want to go to their history. So they played. I could have sworn they played A&T way more than one time, but maybe.
I don't think not since being in this conference. I don't think so.
Okay.
I think this is their second or third game.
Gotcha. Okay. So I mean, but still, it's a goose egg right there, and it's gonna stay that way. Okay. North Carolina A&T is not winning this game. I choose William and Mary. So yeah. I
think we're pretty solid, except that A&M game and except that Norfolk game. I think we're pretty solid. That's only two games. That's only two.
Yeah, I think So we both agree that Jackson State's going to be A&M. We both agree that, let's see, we both agree where my game was.
Sorry, we didn't agree.
We didn't agree?
I don't think we agreed on A&M. I think that was the first one that we did differ on.
Oh yeah, we sure did. See, you see, we got too much going on. So okay, so it's like you sure didn't want to change. You don't want to change for AI. You don't want to change your pick. You want to think? You got a chance to think about it.
Fine.
You want to pick against Jackson State?
I'll switch.
Okay. Because you don't want to pick against Jackson State.
I do, but I don't. For the sake of my picks, I can only have one risk pick, and my risk pick. Wait, was that my risk pick?
I think that might have been your risk pick. No, go with it. No, go and pick Alabama A&M. Go to pick them. Go to do it.
I think that was my risk pick because I did it for my game of the week.
Yeah.
Dang it. Fine. Stick with Alabama A&M. I'll commit.
Okay, so that means we got three. So we disagree on Alabama A&M and Jackson State, mm-hmm. Norfolk State and Hampton. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's it. That's two.
Okay.
Yeah, there's not much to disagree with on the schedule. And then who in the SWAC is even playing? Like outside of the teams that's like I could have sworn there was more teams in the SWAC, but anyway, I could have sworn like football has a scheduling problem already. I'm not gonna get into it. Y'all got a scheduling problem because I'm a native basketball fan. Y'all got a scheduling problem.
I like how you just automatically say y'all. Like I'm part of the
Y'all.
problem. You know?
No, but you're part of the football. You need to tell them to stop doing these schedules like this.
Maybe everybody needs a break. You know, get their minds back together. You know, football is really crazy right now.
But Arielle, that is it for the show on today. Where can we find you on social media?
You can find me on Instagram at __.MartyrdayAri, or you can put me in the hot seat, but I don't think I really said anything controversial this episode since the past 2 episodes. On X, formerly known as Twitter, at @Screw__. You can check out my website at arielkilgore.my.canva.com.
You say anything controversial.
I don't think I said anything controversial this time.
We're gonna read the transcript and we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Okay. All right, you listen to HBCU Pulse Radio.